Okay, what is up, you guys? Hi. We haven't had a sit down, chat, talk, figure some stuff out, and we're gonna do that really quickly. I know my last two videos, especially the first one I posted, was pretty much a shock to anybody who already didn't know. Yes, I got married. Yes, me and Davion got married. And yes, the title is true. He has already left me. So yeah, I'm gonna finish explaining everything to you guys, but he did leave me. But it's not what you think. The title has truth in it because he did leave me, but we are still together. We are most definitely still married. That is still my baby. You know, you get it. Why did he leave me? He is now in the Army. As of like last week, he was officially sworn into the Army, and he is off to basic training right now. He left, that's a big bird. He left on November 8th. He flew into the state that he's in right now on November 9th. I was able to talk to him up until maybe 2 days ago, and I haven't heard from him since. I know that he's okay. I know that he's doing well. I know he's gonna be strong. I made sure me and him prayed before he left, just so that he would know that he was covered, just so he could know that not try to get his strength from within, but to get his strength from the source. And when I say source, that is God, of course, because we know it's not something easy. We know that, well, from what I've been told, the Army lifestyle is not, well, the military lifestyle is different, and there's sacrifices that has to be made from him and myself now that I am in this lifestyle with him and going to be in a couple months from now. He's off building a life for himself. He's off building stability for his wife and his children. That's the decision that he wanted and was willing to make for not only himself but for me and the children. Davion had two choices. It was to join the Army solo as an individual and go on about his life really by himself, right? Or he had the other option of marrying me, being with me for the rest of our lives, and starting a life / building a home for him and his family. And obviously, you're in a relationship to build up to marriage. That's what relationships are all about. And no matter how taboo some certain things might be in this generation, or how things have changed or whatever, you're in a relationship with someone to love them, to be with them, and to potentially marry them. That's the end goal. At least that's my end goal, and that's a lot of people's end goal. You know, those are his choices. Marry the woman that you're with and go build you guys' life together, or you can do this alone. And obviously, well, not obviously, he chose to marry me. We chose to marry each other. Yeah, that's why I got married. Obviously there's love in that. There is trust in each other. There is, our relationship is the core of the real reason we got married. If it was a situation where I was just the mother of his children and nothing more than that, we wouldn't have gotten married. But we love each other and we see a life with each other. Even before knowing we were gonna get married, we saw us being together. Me and Davion found out we were getting married on the 26th and we got married on the 27th. I knew I was getting married a day before I got married. Why did I get married? Personally, I chose to prioritize my life ahead of me, basically. And realize that I'm still gonna be able to have fun. I'm still going to enjoy myself. I'm still gonna have great moments in my life. But I'm gonna have great moments with someone attached to me for the rest of my life, right? I'm gonna have great moments with my children for the rest of my life, and those fun party moments. I'm gonna have both. And basically I got married because I wanted to prioritize us in the future, you know. And also, why wouldn't I want to build my family? Not add to the family, I didn't say that, but build, improve on my family and who we are, and you know, you get it. I was not nervous to get married. I was not afraid to get married. I was not confused if I should get married or not. I found out on the 26th that we had to get married on the 27th. But 2 days prior, we had been talking about marriage because we knew that it could possibly be in the picture because of the military. And basically, I had to have a talk with God. because I love this man. We do have our problems, but we do have our good times, and I love my children. And I had to talk with the source, and I was like, okay, this is different. This is something else that you hinted to me, you know, but I'm gonna need a little guidance. I'm gonna need a little help. So I was like, okay, Jesus, if me and Davion getting married is part of your will and you see it as fit, let your will be done. If me marrying Davion is not a part of your will, it shall not be done. I went as far as being okay with being disappointed about any answer that he gave me, that I told him, stop anything, stop anyone, stop whatever you have to stop if this is not a part of your will. Basically saying, God, if something has to happen to where we realize we cannot get married and it is part of your will that is done, do it. Because I was like, Jesus, this is I don't like wasps. You're gonna have to go somewhere. Yeah. I was like, Jesus, so whatever you have to do, but this is a big decision and I don't want to make it without you, God, and I'm not gonna make it without you. So you do whatever you have to do to get me to where you want me to be in life, not where I'm gonna make this decision and lead myself down the wrong path. Okay? The next morning when I got up, right? Let me also put this into that day that I said this prayer to God. I was angry with Davion. I was upset with Davion. I was frustrated with Davion. I was in a negative mindset about our relationship. Not about our marriage, but about our relationship. I was very upset with him about I don't know what. I don't even remember. When I woke up the next day after talking to God, praying to him, every positive thing I could ever visualize or think about marrying Davion was in my head. Any negative thing that tried to come in my mind was overpowered by a positive thought and a better visualization of what could be. And I was confused. I was like, God, is this the decision you want me to make? It was, and I was talking to my mom about it. I was like, I feel weird, you know? I feel so good about marrying him. Why do I feel so encouraged to marry this man? And then I had to remember that I prayed and I talked to God about it. I asked him to show me his will. Anything good that could come out of a marriage is what was in my head that day, you guys. And my relationship with God is the strongest thing that I have. And you know, doubt did try to come in my mind, and I was saying to myself, Alana, don't psych yourself out because you know you prayed to God. Don't try to bring all these feelings to yourself. Don't try to bring these feelings to yourself to make you feel better about a decision you're really not supposed to be making. But then I was like, no, God is God and God is real. There's no reason for you to doubt something that you asked him last night. He has proven to me several times that he will answer a prayer in different ways. He has proven that to me personally, right? So I know my God. I know what God can do for me. I know what he has done for me. There was nothing negative that I felt about marrying this man. Nothing. When you ask God for something, don't be afraid of what you get. And don't question it either. Good or bad. I told God when I was in my bed, ready to go get an abortion, I told God something. And I don't know if I told this I told it to a few people in my life, but I don't think I told it to you guys on the internet. But I was in the bed, and it was like a couple days before going to the abortion clinic to remove the baby out of my stomach. The baby that I thought was one baby at the time. And I told God, I was like, God, if it's two, I won't get the abortion. And you know what the heck I saw when I went to that abortion clinic and they gave me an ultrasound? 2 babies. Before I was shown that it was twins, it was unbelievable. That was not even a thought in my head. So that was me testing God. That was like, I know you're not gonna give me twins, so if it's 2, I won't get them aborted, you know? But if it was 1, bye-bye. There was joy in me having twins, so that's just a part of that, you know, knowing God is talking to you. And be careful what you ask God. Be careful what you say to God. The day I got married was almost felt like a dream. It literally felt like a dream. No matter how different or unprepared or unexpected or not the usual wedding it was perfect, and it was like a dream. It was wonderful. That I told Davion, I told my mom, that was one of the best days of my life. The best times are the ones unprepared for, and that was literally one of the best days of my life. And I'm not just saying that because, oh, I got married. No, it was literally one of the best days of my life. Like, I don't know why it was, but it was. Like, the joy that I felt that day, the unconditional love that I felt that day, the happiness that I felt that day is unmatched, you know. It was a beautiful day. Nothing ruined it. Nothing bad happened. Nothing was an inconvenience. God knew what he was doing on that day, and he knew that day was gonna come. It's crazy. It's freaking ridiculous. I can't believe that. That's a B. I don't do B. I don't do B. Oh, okay, it's gone. Oh boy. What made me get married at such a young age? It didn't matter if I was 20 or 25. I wasn't thinking about age. I wasn't thinking about how young I am. I wasn't thinking about 20-year-old experience that 20-year-old experiences that I should have. I wasn't thinking about that. My experiences are gonna be for me and my story and my life and my book that I'm writing. Not literally, it's just, you know, metaphor, but and my stories are my stories. It doesn't have to be me bar hopping and sleeping with 2 dudes in one night. That's not my story. It's not the story I'm gonna have to tell. So not to bash anyone who does, because go off, write your story, but I'm just saying it's okay if I write my own, do my own thing. In a couple months, really, he graduates in February, and then he has to go to AIT, which is basically schooling for the job that he gets in the military. And after he's done with that, we will get stationed wherever they tell us to go. It could be Germany, it could be Japan, it could be California, it could be here in Arkansas. And my lifestyle is going to be completely different. My life is going to be completely different, and my content will be completely different. I'm already excited to share anything with you guys, and to be able to share this next you know, stage of my life. It's gonna be so fun. It's gonna be great. Do I want a real wedding one day? Of course. And when I say real, I mean, do I want a real wedding one day? Every girl imagines themselves in a beautiful white dress walking down the aisle to their handsome husband, their mother and father sitting on the pews watching them, crying at their wedding, you know, all of your family there, and then the reception where you can turn up, and then your honeymoon where you can just spend days loving your partner in every way. I do want that. That was something that I always wanted, and it's something that I still want. And luckily there's this thing called renewing your vows, or just planning a wedding after you actually get married. That's like my cousin did it, and plenty more have done it in the world, I'm sure of it, you know. But it was hard for me to first accept getting married without that. And then I told myself, Alana, how pretty it is doesn't matter. Your love and the relationship that you are in is what matters, right? You get married to be married to a person. You don't get married to put on a show for the people around you. And not to say that weddings are unnecessary, because they're fun, they're great. I still want to have one, but that couldn't be the reason I was not to get married to somebody, because I couldn't have the dream wedding I wanted. I do want a real wedding, and it might be in the next 4 years, whenever, but I want to have one. So, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to have one. I just hope I explained everything to you guys, so you guys weren't so confused or had any questions about the situation I'm in right now, where I'm gonna be in a couple months. But that's what I want to end the video on. Please subscribe, like this video, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see plenty more of what's gonna happen in my life, you know. And the last thing I want to say to you guys, for the people who are like, she's too young, I mean, that is gonna pop in my head, but it's not something I care about, right? I just want to ask you, who is writing your book? Is it the people around you? Is it your parents? Or is it you writing the story that you want to tell your kids one day? What lifestyle, what life do you want to make for yourself? And it doesn't have to be with marriage. It can be in any way, shape, or form. But what is your story? What does it sound like? What can you hear you telling your kids about your life and how it's going? You know? That's what I think about. And I can't wait to sit Davion and Dior in the bed or in a chair and explain to them how me and Davion came to be and how we are where we are, you know, in the future. There's no rules on how we're supposed to live this life, except for the ones, you know, that came from the source. But there's no rules on what time you have to do something or what age you have to be to make an important decision. But there's no rule book, and there's nobody that can tell you what you can and cannot do. As long as you're talking to God about whatever decision you're gonna make, go with it. As long as you're getting that okay from the source, go with it. You know? He's not gonna steer you wrong. He never will steer you wrong. Ever. But you can't mistake a decision you're making for yourself for what God is giving you. Right? You can't. You can't fool yourself into thinking that God sent you this or God's telling you to do this when in reality it's just you. Don't do that. That'll have you messed up. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Go with what God is telling you. And I can say that from experience of the good and the bad. Life is what you make it. This is, and imagine it like this. This is real life. This is not just day to day. This is not wake up this morning, do the same thing tomorrow. Actually sit back and look at your life and what you've done for yourself or what you've done for the people around you or what the people around you have done for you. My phone literally died, but like I was saying, ask yourself, you know, how's it going? Write your story, man. It doesn't matter how anybody else feels about it, as long as you and God are on the same page. Write your story. Live your life. Do whatever you want to do. If something is calling you to move to Louisiana or California or Atlanta to go build your life, do it. If God has called you and has shown you over and over that this is the person that you need to be with and you need to build with this person so y'all can create an empire, do it. If God has shown you you need to drop this person that you are in love with or drop these friends that you love so much or drop anything that is a distraction from what he has in store for you, do it. It's really time for us to start building. You know, it's really time for us to take our futures serious. It's time for us to take things that we think are not supposed to come for years when they're really here. Speaking personally, you know, I never thought I'd be getting married this early, but I am married and I do have a life to live now. So I'm ready to go on this journey. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. Subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Write your story. Live your life. If God's telling you you need to live out your young years because you will ruin something that you try to build with somebody else because you ain't got your little, you know, thought stage out, do it. He's never going to tell you that, but that was just for me. Yeah. All right. I'm going to let y'all go. Y'all get the picture.